Welcome to the Sex, Money, and Real Estate Podcast, the show for real estate couples about how to close more deals in the bedroom. My name is Bill Jameson.
And I'm Nancy Jameson.
And each week we deep dive into juicy, intentional, sexy conversations, sharing with you what it takes to create balance in your intimate relationships and your real estate business. Thank you so much for being here. Shall we begin? Hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
What's going on?
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm healing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm healing. We went out last week and got the boys out in nature to go camping, and I thought that strep throat might be a lot of fun while we were camping.
Is that what you think you had? Strep throat?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that. I don't know. It was crazy. And I'm glad to be healing. Mm-hmm. And I guess some of my magic today actually is, and how we define magic is our ability to influence self, others, and life.
Mm-hmm. In an empowering way.
In an empowering way.
Because you can influence people the other way too.
You can.
In a disempowering way.
Yeah, you can have all kinds of influence in any
don't
direction.
Want to do that. Right.
You can, so having the ability to be out in nature and have that, and connect with Mother Nature while I was healing with the aid of a few antibiotics. But yeah, we were camping, we pulled an air mattress out and I slept out in the woods during the day and got
in the sun,
all in the sun and a little bit in the shade, and got all my beauty Z's, my healing Z's. And so that was really cool. And then my other magic around camping is that it actually rained quite a bit on our first and our last day.
Yes.
And we did it anyway.
Yes.
We had a choice, right? And that's the thing, is we're always presented with choices in life. And when it rains or pours, you have a choice to go camping or running or be outside or not. You know, and one of the lessons that I really, one of the lessons I do enjoy going through with the boys and, together as a family is that, that lesson where you can be in joy, you can choose happiness despite the circumstances. And so us all bundled up in a tent, playing Uno and laughing and sleeping.
Watching Clone Wars.
Pulled out the tablet and watched Clone Wars. Yep, in this tent while it's pouring rain. Was absolutely fantastic. Mm-hmm. Enjoyed it so much. So doing it anyway, despite the circumstances, knowing you can still laugh in those circumstances was, I don't know if they get the lesson directly. I know I do. And I know it's something we can circle back on as well. So, yeah. And if they get it indirectly, that's fine by me too.
Yeah. I think they get it.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm complete.
Great. Beauty. Yay.
What's going on with you?
So my magic is all around this week also. So I'm not sick, although I'm not necessarily feeling that great in this moment exactly.
Okay.
So we obviously work out with a trainer, and Day Adioba at the Your Day Balance Game is our trainer. And so I train with him on Mondays at really very early in the morning. And then I decided to train with you guys this morning, because why not? Like you've been taking the boys since this whole thing went down, and it's really been beautiful. And I enjoyed the training, and, I get a second workout in. And so Monday I was really feeling it afterwards, like immediately afterwards, in my glutes and my hamstrings. And, it's one of those things where it's very tricky going up the stairs. And then, and then I worked out with him again and you guys again this morning, 4 days later. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that there's some kind of like detox happening. Okay. And then, as you know, we fast. We do 30-hour fasts on Monday. And then you and I have decided to intermittent fast. On
I guess that's Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, Wednesdays and Thursdays. So we don't start eating until noon from the night before. So I think that there's some detox happening. Okay. And so I just feel like there's just either healing happening or energy moving. And so I'm just kind of like, Okay. And, it's it's do it anyway. It's a circumstance.
Right.
And so
Right.
I'm choosing to record. And then we had a fantastic call this morning with our marketing team. And so we decided we're in the process of brainstorming the next 6-month strategy with the podcast and coaching and real estate and, what it looks like to bring on some new agents for the business that's coming in and that kind of stuff. And so I'm super excited about that to the degree that we're actually in unison on the decision to establish a Facebook group, like a private Facebook group.
Yeah, like a mastermind group kind of
Yes.
thing on Facebook. It'll be a private group,
Yes.
which I thought was a really great idea. Mm-hmm. And we'll see where it goes. I think it's going to be pretty amazing. A great place for all of us to get together and have conversations around all the stuff we talk about on our podcast. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But live.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And then in like a mastermind forum to where we can incorporate and assist incorporating all of the tools.
Yes.
So that's really cool. And we're excited about that. And then the last piece of magic is that we're recording the podcast now. So we're recording the podcast and we're videoing. Is that the right term?
Well, it's not you don't say videotape because then it's.
Well, you just said videotape.
Yeah, but I'm telling you not to say videotape unless I said videotape.
Okay.
So I just realized we were recording, so I put my mic up a little further so I'm not slouching as much.
Okay. Well, yeah, I know. It's interesting because, it's like present, but it's not present because, we're present.
Right.
And, oh, yeah. Hi,
Right.
yeah. So it's, so there's that. And that's for the purpose of, again, assisting people who are more visual because we obviously are visual people.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. So there's lots of amazing things happening.
Absolutely. All the time.
Mm-hmm. And I think, and then I also believe, so there's that magic. And then I also believe that how we're doing this today transpired.
I can't see your hands, baby.
What?
You're talking like an Italian right now.
I know. Well,
They can't see. Oh, I guess they can see your hands. Oh yeah, we're videoing.
because we're doing this to where, and we've always done this type of conversation. I think what we did was we wanted to remove the outline and remove the laptop and for at least this one and this topic really, and have a very connected, transparent conversation about healing.
Yeah, about healing, about really, the topic that came to mind, and I think it was inspired by a post that one of us saw somewhere that that healing is non-linear.
Mm-hmm. Yes, meaning it's not like, okay, I just have to do one thing and then I'm done.
Right. And
or I go on this line and I'm done.
If I do this, if I read this book and follow the 3 things that this book said to do, then I'm healed and, clap your hands and off you go and
check the box.
Right.
Next, I have become.
Yeah. On to the next thing. I am Buddha. Yeah, that's it's an interesting topic for sure, and it's one we could go along with. And today, I definitely want to. I want to get into a little bit, but I want to go too much.
Okay.
Because I think it's something we can circle back on again too.
Okay. Well, what is that? What is healing is not linear? What does that mean to you? Like when you think of that, what is that?
Really what I think about is healing not being linear is not being, for me, it's not being attached to the outcome. Yeah. I feel like, for me, for a long time, as I've worked on my healing, is that I always thought that there had to be like a certain outcome or, crossing the finish line kind of thing, like you were just saying, and it had to look a certain way. It had to look a certain way. And what I'm really, really finding out for myself is that as I unattach to what it looks like, it opens up more possibility for other kinds of healing to come up, or just for me to heal up in a completely different way. So, I think about examples of that where I talk about, like with my mom and my relationship with her, and I was really attached to, being the patriarch as my father has left the family, and what I thought that was supposed to mean, and I could heal her in such a way, and while I was healing her, I was healing me, and it was frustrating, and there was just never empowering, and it was really all perspective, and once I unattached from what that looked like. And I'm certainly not saying that my relationship with my mother or my sister is really healed up, but yet I'm not as attached to it. And I know that things will heal as it's meant to be, because it's more than just me. There's in this particular example, there's a couple of us that are definitely co-creating the experience, and I'm influential, and but I'm looking for the flow and not the force.
Yeah.
So,
And as you heal, you contribute continuously to the healing.
Yes.
So that while you're doing the most to heal you and move through all of the things that you've set up and the guidelines that you've set up in your life to continue your healing processes, really on a 360-degree level. I mean, you're in healing all the time. Like, you've set it up and structured it so that you can flow and so that you have accountability in place and people in place and resources in place, that you're in a constant state of healing.
that's a big part of it. And then the other part of it, with all that being set up, is I get to lead and I get to be the example. And being the example of it doesn't mean that I am necessarily cracking the whip. It means that I'm just being me.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for saying that.
I'm just being me. And
well, there's no just about it.
Thank you.
I mean, you're amazing. And by you being you, it allows other people, it creates the space for others to see really the evidence of all of the work that you are doing on a moment-to-moment basis. And so they get to choose. And it's back to that choice again.
Yep. Whether it's in a conversation around the book I'm reading or the conversations I'm having, or just hanging out and being me. Yep, absolutely. So that's what I think about with nonlinear healing. And then, the other thing I think about with nonlinear healing as being the example, or watching other people being the example, is like if I feel like if I'm working on some modality or doing something that, I'm in a meditation, or I'm in I'm doing something that is, or in a conversation with somebody that is leading to some kind of breakthrough, through that conversation, that piece of the linear healing may take another direction. And then all of a sudden, is it linear at this point, or is it non-linear at this point, right? Because now it has another direction, or, one degree can make all the difference.
Yes. Or it can be curvy like me.
And if you don't, don't understand that example, think about steering a boat. 1 degree over a mile or two may not get you too far out of the way, but 1 degree over 1,000 miles, and you may be way off course, right? So, from the linear, nonlinear healing aspect of it, one degree or one shift could put you right on the course that was meant to be in that moment.
Yeah. Following that divine
Following
inspiration.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, or just another way of healing up, or healing up what you've healed to another degree or another level, because the healing never really ends. You may be healing up a childhood thing, or healing up a relationship, or or maybe just a conversation inside your head, or some fears or whatever. And you can sit there, and again, I'm at the camera. I'm clapping my hands and saying, "Oh, I'm done." But then, if it may not be done, and it may come up for another level of healing, whatever that lesson is, and be even more empowering. And then maybe from the student you become the teacher, or whatever it is. Whatever it is.
Or you heal it from that new point of understanding where you are now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's for me. What do you
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like rewatching a movie from, like a movie that you watched, like Top Gun. We watched Top Gun with the boys the other day. And I've seen that movie probably 157 times. And yet I haven't seen that movie in, probably 10 years or so, maybe 15 years. And to watch it from this point of understanding, like there was so much that I didn't see the last time I saw the movie, and now I see the movie because I'm truly a different person. So it's the same idea. Like, you may have already done the work around X, Y, and Z, and yet to revisit that again, I mean, you're looking at it from a different point of understanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you may become aware of a whole nother level of healing that wasn't even there before, or level up, LOVE, level up,
Right.
like we'd like to say. So
what's funny about that, as I'm really relating it back to real estate just a little bit, is
Yeah.
a lot of times when I take our buyers out, I'm like, you got to come back and look at the house another
Yeah.
time. I mean, great, this is the house.
Yeah.
Let's write the offer, but let's come back and take another look. Or even if it doesn't rank super high, but you kind of like it, come back take another look at it. In another day or the next day, because your perspectives shift. Perspectives shift all the time.
sure.
And as and as you sleep or as you process and go through your process, things may come up that are super beautiful, and things may come up that are not. But go through your process and have that shift in perspective, so that you can continue to open up possibility.
Yeah. Yep. Different time of day. Drive it by yourself. Yeah. All of those different things. Yeah. Because you'll see all new things. All
Yeah.
new things.
Totally.
I love it. Thank you.
I'm complete. Thank you.
So what comes up for me in the whole aspect of it not being linear is this whole concept of like the up and down, or the sideways, or the diagonal, where it really looks like a bunch of scribble scrabble. And then, if it's point here and point here, it's like, I mean, everybody's seen that diagram. And then the point's over here. And so whatever it looks like. And what I think is beautiful about that whole concept is I think of you and I a lot. And we'll approach the same subject, whether it's, a buyer presentation, listing presentation, how to talk with a client, or how to discipline the kids, or how to raise the kids, or, when we were just going through selling the house, we had like, oh, this is my idea of it, and this is my idea of it. And so like you have your way of doing things that work for you, and I have my way of doing things that work for me. And over the course of 24 years of being together, the beautiful part about that is that we usually end up at the same result.
Yeah,
It's
I love
just
that.
we totally have different processes and how to get there. And there has been such, like in the beginning, that used to cause a lot of stress because we were like, wait a minute.
And it still
this is the way
can
that I want-
sometimes.
Yeah, it can sometimes. And I feel like we have a better awareness and less attachment to, well, there's less codependency,
Yep.
and there's more of an awareness to it's okay to disagree. Like we don't necessarily have to agree on something. What you and I really work on is understanding your perspective and understanding my perspective, and then moving in that direction. So like, and again, it's you have your way of doing it and I have my way of doing it. And, sometimes there's, okay, cool, let's do it your way. I see, I get that. That's cool. And vice versa. And then sometimes there's like, no, it's cool. Like you do your thing. And usually we end up in the same arena.
Yeah. And so I think that really highlights the point of being attached to what the outcome's supposed to look like. And, or could highlight, I guess, more so like highlight what the process is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Because the process is
attached to the how.
Yeah, attached to the how as opposed to the the end result. So that's a whole nother conversation, right? And I think that's beautiful that you brought that up because, everybody's everybody. I mean, we're all so freaking unique, So of course we're gonna have our own unique ways of doing things, So I mean, there's gonna be some commonalities. Whatever it is, and I'm just gonna, some surface things that not surface, I guess, but some common things that happen during healing is journaling or meditation or prayer. Yeah, all that stuff is a very common and evolved path to healing. But who says that your prayer is the same as my prayer?
Yeah. Exactly. Or I'm going to journal when you journal. Like I prefer journaling in the morning. You may prefer journaling at night, but that doesn't mean that either one of us is right or wrong.
Right.
It's just
correct.
What's the most empowering way? Well, I said that intentionally, like right or wrong. It's because it's not. I mean, those things are judgments anyway.
Right.
And it's truly allowing the space to heal. Like we're in this together and we're partners and we're married and you have your humanness, your right to heal how you heal, you know? And so so that for sure comes to mind. And then the other thing that comes to mind is that you and I and everyone do not have to be in alignment 100% of the time. Like the game is not to be in alignment 100% of the time because
with each other
or individually or life. It's not supposed to be 100% straight edged all the time. Like life happens and, you know, sometimes you're blown this way and sometimes the wind blows this way and sometimes, you know, you go up and then down and sometimes you go down, 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 down. And so if this is alignment, then, and you know, you're floating, you know, Katy Perry trash bag in the wind, floating between the line. It's like how, or the pendulum is swinging east and west, then how quickly can you get back into alignment is really what it is.
Yeah.
It's like,
is it minutes or days or hours, you know? And that's just, you know,
sometimes it's weeks, months, or years,
right?
You know, if you're dealing with grief, you
Yeah,
know? I mean,
true.
Yes, I think it totally depends on the circumstance. And yet it's utilizing your tools and utilizing your resources, whether it's coaching, mentors, videos, you know, back to prayer, meditation. It's utilizing those tools to get back and really be in the center of yourself, what
Yeah.
we call sitting on our throne,
Yep.
king and queen. And so I definitely think of that also. Yeah. And you mentioned, the last thing I will say about that is that, you know, you mentioned the arrival of, you know, like there's never, like you never arrive and then it's done. It's like, it is an ongoing process.
For sure.
So let me think. I mean, if there's, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like examples or something like that I've personally been through. I mean, I think that my biggest example around that is really rediscovering my self-worth and, which has developed into this beautiful self-love, self-care practice. And yet it took probably a decade. I mean, really,
Yeah.
if I'm really going to look at that, you know,
Yeah,
and it was,
and you did that pretty quick.
and it's ongoing. I mean, it's still ongoing, you know, there's still little tweaks. I mean, you know, like I'm playing for my thighs and my butt to be a certain way now, you know? So it's
And so am I.
it's an sweet pea. Oh, you're playing for me? My thighs and butt too. Wow. Okay. Cut. No, it's
I'm just holding space for you, baby.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate you. I just, it's just a beautiful process.
Yeah, and so I mean, and it could be, you know, it's just, and you look at the relationships in your life, you know, and you know, when you said you were looking for examples, yeah, I mean, they're the relationship with yourself, and you know how you relate emotionally to yourself, or it could be how you relate emotionally to others, or your relationship with money, you know, is a big one, or your relationship with religion. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can come up when you really evaluate those relationships in your life. I mean, it could be other people, but you know, the relationships go so beyond people.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, sex, money, and religion are, you know, the top three things that just really
Spin out
spiral and spin people out. And
Yeah.
so look at those relationships, and you know, I guarantee you that one of those or all of them are there's some nonlinear healing going on if you're being intentional about it.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah. And then lastly, if we're giving tools, my tool always in regard to healing, especially, well, I guess it's two tools. Number one, always go to gratitude. I mean, just to have a healthy, intentional, deliberate, repped habit of gratitude journals, gratitude practice, you know, gratitude vision board, whatever your deal is. Set up an event in your phone that goes off and it's like boom, boom, boom. Oh, gratitude time. You know, so the gratitude practice. And then the other thing that I really think is very important is show up. Like show up, like continuously count on yourself to show up for that healing and to create the space and the patience for yourself to have an understanding and an awareness that healing is not linear. It is. It's up and down. And it's backwards, forwards, catapulting forwards,
Yeah. And always giving yourself, giving yourself space for that. And remember that, and then the third tool I think is very important, at least it is for me, is that we can't do this shit alone.
True.
It takes a village, so find your village, environments. We talk about in another episode, we talk about environments a lot. And,
the
immunity
is in the community.
The immunity is in the community. And when you hang out with people who are not necessarily commiserating, but maybe, somebody that you might think that has a higher handle or a greater handle on the topic that you're working on, then hang out with those 3 or 4 or 5 people and make it consistent. Or 7 people, and be in that circle at least once or twice a week, and have those conversations. Because, I mean, just the fact that you're in that energy field will start healing up just about anything you need to heal up, just by being in the energy field without even having a conversation.
Yep.
So then you start having that conversation.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. How do you feel?
I feel great. I feel unscripted.
Thanks for coming out to peek behind your pop microphone. It's like I'm looking at your eyeballs. I mean, you have beautiful eyes, and yet now I can see your lips. Thank you.
You're welcome. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you all for listening to this one. And and if you're watching, I'm turning towards my cell phone that's daintily
doing an amazing job
mounted on this tripod over here. And wishing you all a beautiful day and a beautiful week, and sending love out to you all.
Yes. Thank you. Feel free to contact us if you have any questions, of course.
Yes.
At Sex Money Real Estate on Instagram.
Or at Gmail.
All right. Your
Awesome.
choice.
Bye.
Love you.
Wow, what a show. Thank you so much for listening. And if you're inspired, we ask that you share the podcast with one person and subscribe and follow the show. I'm Bill Jameson.
And I'm Nancy Jameson.
And remember, it's
a great life. Quick note about the Sex, Money, and Real Estate podcast. We are not doctors or licensed therapists. We are a joyous, abundant, and mature couple passionately sharing our story of growth around sex, money, and real estate. Our thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are our own, so please consult your doctor, healthcare provider, or your broker regarding any questions or issues you have related to your physical or mental health or specific state laws regarding your real estate business.